Hello and welcome to Tubonge Tax, the show that provides you with all the information that you need about tax. Now, this episode is very special because it's all about good news, and good news on two fronts, actually. The first is that Kenya Revenue Authority every October celebrates you, the taxpayer, and our cherished stakeholders. Now, how do we celebrate you and what is involved and what activities are happening? Well, I have two great people here in studio to tell us more. I have Andrew Osiani, who is from the Marketing and Communication Department, which is part of Kenya Revenue Authority. And I have Ms. Hakamba Wangwe, who is from the Domestic Taxes Department, also part of KRA. So maybe I'll start with you, Andrew. Taxpayers Month is a great initiative, but not everyone may be aware of its significance. Could you explain maybe what Taxpayers Month is and why it is important to recognize and celebrate?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alan. So the Taxpayers Month is a flagship program of the Kenya Revenue Authority that we use to appreciate and celebrate the Kenyan taxpayer. For their work in enhancing our revenue administration agenda. So we started this as a Taxpayers Week in the year 2005, and it morphed into a Taxpayers Month, and now this year we'll be celebrating the 18th Taxpayers Month. And it's somewhere in the month of October. It started as a week in October, and that was elevated into a month when we realized we needed to involve taxpayers more and broaden the scope of what this was about. So yes, it's a flagship program that we use to celebrate and appreciate taxpayers nationally, globally, those who may not be in Kenya, but really contribute to our tax administration agenda. So we use this month to celebrate the general taxpayer, for their support in tax administration.
Okay, maybe just kindly elaborate. I know there's the Taxpayers Month itself, but there's also a very special week for taxpayers in the first week of October. Well, maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Exactly. So the way the Taxpayers Month works, we normally launch it. So this year's launch is on the 2nd, and we'll be having it in Mombasa for the very first time.
Oh, wow.
We are devolving the Taxpayers Month activities.
Right.
And after the launch, we normally have a week called the Customer Service Week. And Customer Service Week is a global week for celebrating customers all around the world for who they are.
Right.
Okay, be it in running business, be it in facilitating sales, whatever it is. Yeah. And for us, the taxpayer is our customer. We also now celebrate Customer Service Week together with them. Yeah. So this will fall on the first week of October globally, and we aligned our Taxpayers Month to speak to that. And the theme for this year is team service. We will be celebrating, the team spirit, that KRA exhibits in serving its customers.
Right. Now, I know there's a theme for Customer Service Week. Is there a theme this year for Taxpayers Month itself?
Yeah, certainly. This year's Taxpayers Month is themed Tunawiri. The reason why we themed it as such is because we know that the taxpayer is the most important stakeholder in tax administration. We are aligning our theme this year to the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda called the plan, which basically focuses on the citizen at the bottom. Right. So we want them to feel a part of this special month, okay? So that in our celebration, we want them to play a role, in socioeconomic empowerment and development of our country through payment of taxes. So this is very special to us because we want them to feel a part, of what we do by payment of taxes right from the bottom.
Okay. Now, before I jump to Hakamba, maybe looking ahead, how do you envision Taxpayers Month to evolve in the future as everything evolves? And how can MSMEs continue to be a vibrant part of this celebration?
Yeah. So as we said, if you look at the people we are focusing on today, first of all, MSMEs are about 7.4 million in number or thereabout. And about 22.8 million people, derive gainful income from that sector. Right. That's 35% of our GDP in Kenya. I mean, that's huge, all right? Therefore, this sector is extremely, extremely important for the country, and that's where the taxes are. if these people are made to feel part of the country as genuine, stakeholders in tax administration, you can imagine what Taxpayers Month would mean for us in the coming years.
Yes.
So for us, it's actually going to focus on the people at the bottom of the pyramid, because we believe when we bring them on by celebrating them, appreciating them, projecting our social value to them,
Yes.
We will get taxes a bit effortlessly and voluntarily.
Okay, great. Now, Akamba, Andrew has talked a lot about the theme for Customer Service Week being driving CX agility. There's also the theme for Taxpayers Month, which is prosperity. Now, Customer Service Week is not just about celebrating. It's about recognizing the evolving needs of your customers, who I guess, of course, are the taxpayers out there. Now, specifically, how does KRA and domestic taxes by extension adapt to meet these changing demands, especially in the context of agility?
Yeah, thank you, Alan. So what the domestic taxes department does, basically, it's charged with the accounting for the locally generated taxes.
Right.
And it is the department that is actually supporting our taxpayers be able to account and to be able to be compliant to locally generated taxes. So when you're talking about domestic excise, pay-as-you-earn, income tax, VAT, this is the department that is taking care of that. And it has been given that importance by the level of even staffing that this department has been given. Mm-hmm. Because when you look at the staffing provision for a domestic taxes department, it's accounting for over 40% of the entire population of the KRA staff.
Oh, wow.
Meaning,
okay.
What we're trying to do really is to make sure that we have as big a support as possible
Yes.
for our customers, that is the taxpayer.
Right.
And with this staff, the over 40% staff of the KRA population, we have over 42, we call them tax service offices.
Okay.
Spread countrywide.
Right.
To just make sure that the taxpayers can reach the services of KRA at the nearest office.
Right. Okay.
So with the setup, we also have made sure that we have the relationship management arrangement.
Okay.
Again, once again, we organized ourselves in a way that
like banks almost.
Like banks, yes. So,
yes.
So that to make sure that each taxpayer at least has someone, they have a contact person,
yes.
someone who they can reach out to in case they need support. But apart from the tax service offices, we have also automated. Because, it's one thing to reach your nearest tax office, yes. But then you'd also like to be able to access the KRA services or the domestic taxes services remotely. Right. So we've made sure, again, when it comes to registration, filing, payment, you can actually do it at the comfort of your home or your own environment, so that you only, if you have to come to our offices, we have the setup to support you, yes. But we have automated considerably to make sure that you can access these services actually remotely. So basically those ones are the setups that we have. We have also made provision for like working together with other departments, for example, the marketing department. We have provided the media in various forums. We know most of the people right now are hanging out in social media platforms, so why don't we meet them there? Exactly. So when it comes to taxpayer education services, when it comes to taxpayer support services, we have also devolved it in such a way that you have a forum, you can either come to our office, you can access it, you go to the social media, any of our social media platforms, you'll find KRA there, yes. And DTD there, just to make sure that you're continually are informed to make sure that you are tax compliant.
Okay. Maybe before I go back to Andrew, maybe you can touch on, I know there are two very advanced and actually beneficial programs, if I, for lack of a better word, call them, that have come to benefit the taxpayers, specifically the advancement of the tax invoice management system. It's now called eTIMS. And also the Revenue Service Assistance Program, which brings KRA services to the people. Maybe if you could just kindly touch on that, because I think that is a key part of KRA being agile and coming to where the taxpayer is. Maybe if you can just touch on that, and then we'll come back to Andrew.
So especially for the rollout of the eTIMS, what need we were trying to meet was also advancing our MSMEs, when it comes to technology, because we know they are continuing with their business. They have areas which they probably could be supported by the government, and we have, so that we've brought them to the level where they too can also generate invoices. We've provided the free software, and they can be able to generate invoices through their systems that have been come through an automated format, and transmit the same invoices to KRA. So even as we focus on revenue collection, we have also made sure that we have uplifted our taxpayers technology-wise to be able to be in an area where now they can account for their taxes digitally and also have additional value. For example, the inventory management module, that they can organize their businesses in a system that we have provided for them and better manage their businesses. But with that also, we have, as you've mentioned, the rollout of the revenue service assistance.
Yes.
For these ones now, we have further extended the reach of our taxpayers, because we are also saying that sometimes you can't come to us. Sometimes maybe because you're busy,
Of course,
you're not
of course,
able
yes.
to go even to the social media platforms.
Yeah.
But there are some amendments, for example, that you need to make. You need to get support when it comes to accounting or filing your taxes. And that's why we have this team of young people who are within your reach. They are identifiable because they're in uniform, and they are rolled them out also countrywide, so that you can reach them, or they can reach you at your places. And whenever you need support when it comes to taxes, in addition to the other enforcement measures that they've been tasked to do, they're able to do that. But maybe I'd like also to touch on something that we are also giving back to the taxpayers. We've just started implementing the tax amnesty program.
That was my second
Yes.
good news.
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
leading to that. Yes,
Yeah, sorry.
please tell our,
Yes.
our audience about the tax amnesty program.
So, KRA, we are at this place where also we are just looking back, reflecting on the relationship we've had with our taxpayers. And we've said up to December 2022, you can actually benefit from a pardon of your penalty and interest as long as you apply. Okay. And if you have any principal taxes to declare, we organize for a payment plan. You can pay for the principal taxes, but we give you a reprieve when it comes to your penalties and interest. So it's a program that we've just started the month of September. Right. It's going to run up to June 2024. Okay. And so far we've had very positive results, and we are very sure that with more information, more taxpayers will come forward so that they can be able to benefit from this provision.
Wow, amazing. That's agility right there, Andrew, if I do say so myself. Now, taxation in itself can be a daunting topic for very many people. How is KRA making tax-related discussions more accessible and engaging for the general public? I know, for example, in Taxpayers Month, you have the annual tax summit. So maybe you can tell our viewers something about that.
Yeah, so as part of the Taxpayers Month, one of the 8 activities we have that's very central in the tax administration business is the Tax Summit. Right. We'll be hosting the 9th Annual Tax Summit this year, and it's themed Turning the Real, Building a Progressive and Resilient Tax System from the Bottom. Very much aligned with our theme, Tunawiri. Right. And the Tax Summit is normally a platform of thought leadership where we exchange ideas on how to improve the tax system, how to improve the system as a whole, both from the tax administration perspective, but how best a tax system can respond to the customer's needs. So it's normally an intellectual conversation, but very, very accessible as well. I mean, if you look at the topics we have, so topic 1 is about, building a social contract with the taxpayer. Okay. And in this topic, we have brought in, people even at the bottom, to bring their ideas and share what is it that we are going to do to enhance tax morale. Okay, so we're also going to have discussions around things like, entrenching export promotion in Kenya from a customs perspective. What is it we can do? And we'll actually have a farmer who will come and tell us what they think KRA and government can do to ensure that they export more and we end up building an economy. We'll also talk about digitization, creating an economy on supersonics. How do we take advantage of digitization to enhance tax administration? More or less, how do we make the taxpayers speak to KRA using technology and things like that Hakamba has been talking about through e-teams and the likes. So it's going to be a very interesting discussion. We've made it very accessible. It will be between the 11th and 12th of October. Right. So on the 11th, we'll have all the plenaries running. We'll have plenary 1 on tax morale and the social contract between building a social contract with the taxpayer. Right. Plenary 2 will actually focus on predictability of the tax system.
Again, very important.
Exactly. So we proposed, you remember the last annual tax summit, we mooted the idea of a national tax policy.
Right.
It's there, it's in draft,
okay.
it's about to be enacted.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how do we use that as a tool of enhancing tax morale and reforming the tax system in Kenya? Very wonderful discussions. And we've lined up very, very key speakers.
Yes.
Who the CS of National Treasury will be the keynote speaker for the summit. And then we'll have different speakers from all over the world, Mauritius, South Africa, the US, all over the place, the OECD and all manner of agencies will be there.
Right.
So Tax Summit is one of the tools, the platforms we've used to, facilitate access of the Kenyan at the bottom into the tax administration system. Another thing we're doing is the Taxpayers Month activities and Customer Service Week, which you just talked about.
Yeah, maybe you can touch on that as well as kind of related in a way, but a question that many may ask: how is Fine KRA is celebrating us, but how is KRA giving back to the community? So actually, my next question was going to be: how does KRA have any CSR activities planned within Taxpayers Month? And maybe you can touch on maybe a couple of them on what's planned.
Exactly. So one of the other 8 things we'll be doing is CSR. But before I come to CSR, on the Taxpayers Month activities and Customer Service Week, we'll also be interacting with taxpayers deeply. For example, we'll have KRA Kwa Ground, where our Commissioner General and our commissioners will go right into the MSME premises, and just have a chat and barazas with them. Right. We want to go to them. Essentially, we're taking KRA to the taxpayer. Yes. Okay. We'll also be having other, appreciation initiative. We'll be launching our Ushuru Service Center in Upper Hill, which is our newest service center to expand our service delivery infrastructure. Okay. And we will be relating with taxpayers, through tax talks, or our online webinars for tax education and things like that, largely pushing the tax amnesty message so that people are aware. We expand knowledge of taxpayers around this. But now, onto your question about CSR. Yes, one of our objectives of the Taxpayers Month is to project KRA's social value. What social value are we giving to taxpayers? And this year, we are aligning with government agenda of Jazamiti initiative. Okay. And we are going to be planting 120,000 trees across the country to support the president's agenda in reforming our climate change and environment conservation. So we'll have 10,000 trees, planted, mangroves in Mombasa. Yes. We will be planting around 10,000 trees in Kimende. Right. We'll plant over 50,000 trees in Mau. Exactly. We'll plant another 30,000 trees in Mount Elgon, and another 10,000 in just next to Mount Elgon around Luaha area. So each and every area in our administrative jurisdictions will have tree planting going on, and this will be led by the board of directors themselves. Maybe
before I let us all leave, Hakamba, what message or advice would you like to share with your fellow MSMEs? Your clients who are also eagerly looking forward to celebrating Taxpayers Month with KRA?
I would say Tunawiri pamoja, because it is because of them. We've had the initiatives you're talking about that we are here. Right. So we continue working together so that we can build this country.
Okay, thank you. Andrew, any last thoughts? for the MSMEs out
I
there
just want
who,
to, Exactly. I just want to call out on our MSMEs to join us in this year's Taxpayers Month. Tunawiri, indeed. And we look up to you as our stakeholders in the tax administration business. Just to join with us, we cannot succeed in this alone. We require your support, and a happy Taxpayers Month 2023.
Absolutely. And happy Taxpayers Month indeed. I remember at the beginning I said I have two pieces of great news. Taxpayers Month coming in the month of October, as well as the launch of the tax amnesty program, which is currently ongoing. So kindly log into www.kra.go.ke to find out more about this program and how it can benefit you. So we'd like to leave it right there, and we'd like for you to have a very good Taxpayers Month and kindly get involved with all of the activities that are happening countrywide, because they're not just happening in Nairobi. As Andrew has said, they're happening from Luahaha to Mombasa to Lamu, everywhere. So just whenever you see people from KRA around, get involved, because it is benefiting you, the community. So this has been Tubonge Tax. I've been your host, Alan Madoka. And until next time, goodbye.